Discover the miraculous secrets of divine communication, 7 supernatural keys to transform lives. Mary lived in a quaint English village cradled by rolling hills, where the air was thick with the scent of blooming wildflowers and the sound of soft church bells. As the postmaster, day after day, she spread joy, delivering letters filled with love and hope. Each evening, she gathered her family for prayers to their beloved patron saint, Saint Anne, kneeling in reverence as they whispered their thanks and petitions. But shadows loomed when her youngest, Samuel, fell ill, a darkness that seemed to thicken around her. Doctors shook their heads in despair, their grim faces overwhelming Mary's heart with fear. The village buzzed with divided voices, some questioning the power of prayer while others rallied behind her. It was during this turbulent time that Mary learned of the 7 supernatural keys to divine communication, whispers of miracles waiting to be uncovered through her unwavering faith. With her heart pounding, she set out on a spiritual quest and unwavering determination to unlock each key. One misty morning, as she wandered the sun-dappled footpaths, she encountered old Mr. Hargrove, a village sage, who spoke of faith as a river, flowing through those who dared to believe. "Trust, dear Mary," he whispered, his eyes shimmering with wisdom, "and you'll see the wonders of our Lord." In this sacred junction of faith, the supernatural began to stir. A chance encounter with a young woman in the village square resulted in a profound yet fleeting moment, a shared glance filled with unspoken understanding that rekindled Mary's hope. As she walked away, a sudden verse from Scripture echoed in her heart: "The earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results." It was as if the winds carried divine reassurance, but skepticism loomed over her like a gathering storm cloud, the village's doubts spiraling with each new rumor circulating about her journey. Voices of disbelief whispered through the chapel walls during a local gathering, where hymns rang out and flickering candles cast dancing shadows. They filled the squares, urging her to abandon her fervent prayers in favor of worldly science. Yet, amidst echoes of doubt, the loyal members of her faith community stood steadfast, uplifted by their shared belief. As Mary knelt in prayer, her heart laid bare before the Lord, the air thick with the fragrance of burning beeswax and the warmth of compassion, she cried out for Samuel's healing. In her fervor, she felt an inexplicable peace wash over her, a moment of divine embrace. Could divine intervention truly change his fate? She pondered as tears streamed down her cheeks. Suddenly, a tempest erupted, a storm engulfed the village, darkened skies mirroring the turmoil within her chest. Blistering winds howled, echoing her doubts, but with the grace of God, she received a miraculous call. A specialist was willing to attempt one last procedure, a glimmer of hope that could save her boy. Torn between worldly solutions and her reliance on divine will, her heart raced. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the tempest's fury raged outside, Mary's heart balanced on the precipice of faith and doubt, her prayers weaving their way through the storm. The village watched, entranced, caught between skepticism and the yearning for a miracle. Would her journey yield a sign of hope, rekindling the faith simmering deep within their hearts? The very essence of belief hung in the air, as the winds of doubt fought against gusts of hope. In those trembling moments, the question lingered like the silence before a miracle. Would Mary unlock the secrets of divine communication, and could her faith inspire a collective awakening among the villagers, sparking a divine miracle in the heart of their quaint community? Mary felt the weight of the storm pressing down around her. The winds whipped through the village, rattling windows and shaking the leaves from the trees. Each gust echoed her inner turmoil, merging doubt and hope into a powerful chorus. Would the hope she felt in her heart be enough to reach the heavens on behalf of her precious Samuel? Gathering her strength, she turned her gaze towards the chapel, its towering spire piercing the chaotic sky. The village had once found solace in that holy haven. Determined, She made her way through the remnants of the storm that raged around her, each step resonating with a prayer that echoed the deepest desires of her heart. "Lord, let it be your will," she breathed, a mantra dripping with both fear and yearning. Inside the chapel, the flickering candles bathed the worn wooden pews in a warm glow. She found sanctuary amidst the shadows. Kneeling before the altar, she surrendered herself completely, pouring out her heart. "Saint Anne, hear my cries. I trust in your goodness. Please, intercede for Samuel." The words tumbled from her lips, thick with tears. As she prayed, the rhythm of the chapel began to shift. A hum of anticipation filled the air, drawing her close to inexplicable peace. The storm outside began to quiet, the tempest slowly giving way to a gentle rain. In that quieter moment, she felt a soft presence wrapping around her like a warm blanket, assuring her she was not alone. Suddenly, a whisper rustled through her mind. "Have faith, my child." She opened her eyes, looking around. The vast emptiness of the chapel felt alive, and her heart skipped a beat at the realization. Faith wasn't merely believing in what she could see, it was entrusting the unseen. With renewed vigor, Mary stood and approached the altar's light, embracing the light that glowed softly like a beacon of hope. The mystery of divine communication began to dawn upon her, a deeper connection to the divine despite the odds that seemed insurmountable. As if summoned by her resolve, Mrs. Cromwell, the village herbalist and Mary's staunch supporter, entered with a basket filled with small vials of herbs and medicine. Her brow was furrowed with concern, but her eyes sparkled with unwavering faith. "Mary, they say the storms bring forth growth. Your prayers are planting seeds that will flourish." Empowered by the words, Mary engaged her friend in conversation. "Mrs. Cromwell, do you believe our prayers can change the course of Samuel's fate?" "Oh, absolutely. We've walked this path before, haven't we? When we stand united in prayer, miracles flourish even in the darkest of times," she responded, her voice soothing and steady. As they spoke, a sudden silence enveloped them, the world outside reduced to a gentle rhythm of raindrops softly overcoming the earth. It was a holy moment, one where hearts were opened and faith stood strong. Mary glanced around, inspiration weaving through her thoughts. "Perhaps it isn't just my faith that will guide Samuel, maybe the village's collective faith can unlock the floodgates of heaven." An idea sparked within her heart. If the community stood together, might they all discover the true power of divine communication? With their combined voices, they could send forth a call, a fervent plea to the heavens echoing through the hills and valleys. She felt a sense of urgency boiling within her. A community gathering could awaken dormant spirits, light the way to miracles that lay within reach. What started as desperation began morphing into a rallying cry. With every neighbor she approached and invited, the reviving spirit of unity kindled flames of hope. As Mary left the chapel, the rain washed over her like a baptism, cleansing doubts and fears. She knew there was no time for hesitation. Samuel needed them all, and perhaps, just maybe, they could engage with divine communication in a way that would leave an imprint on the heavens. But what would happen when they came together? Would their combined voices form a chorus powerful enough to shift the very foundations of their reality? As anticipation swirled around her, the clouds began to part. The rain continued to fall, each drop a gentle reminder of hope as Mary moved through the village, her heart racing with excitement. The streets were slick, glistening under the gray sky, but all she could see were faces, the faces of her friends, her neighbors, and the people she loved. She could feel the urgency in her spirit, pushing her toward each door with the promise of something beautiful on the horizon. When she knocked on the first door, old Mr. Thompson opened it, his face creased with years of kindness. "Mary, what brings you out in this weather?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "Mr. Thompson, I have a plan," she exclaimed. "We need to gather together, all of us. We must pray for Samuel. Our combined faith can create a wave of hope powerful enough to reach the heavens." The words tumbled out, filled with passion and purpose, his brow furrowed, but he nodded slowly. "You know prayer is powerful, Mary. When we unite, there's strength in our voices. Count me in." Encouraged, she dashed to the next home, Mrs. Mortimer's small cottage, adorned with bright flowers in window boxes. When Mary shared her idea, the warm-hearted woman clasped Mary's hand tightly, eyes glistening. "Oh, darling! I'll rally the others. This village has endured storms before, we will do this for Samuel." Hope ignited like a spark as Mary continued to share her vision from house to house. More and more faces joined her cause, each filled with a flicker of excitement. The hearts of the villagers swelled with faith, echoing her call. They shared stories of their loved ones, miracles witnessed, and hope renewed. The air buzzed with divine expectation. As they came together, an intimate gathering formed at the chapel later that evening. The flickering of the candles cast a sacred glow, and voices mingled in earnest prayer. A chorus of heartfelt pleas rose to the vaulted ceiling, weaving through the air like fragrant incense, blending into a tapestry of trust and belief. Mary stood in the center, feeling the strength of their unity. She could almost see the tangible shift in the atmosphere. "Lord, hear us. We gather here as one family, hearts entwined in faith. We believe in miracles. We claim your grace for Samuel." Her voice rang like a bell, each word imbued with hope. Suddenly, a hush fell over the chapel. Mary felt it, a palpable energy moving gently yet assertively among them. Was it a sign? She glanced around, searching the faces of her friends and neighbors. They were rapt, eyes closed, connected in spirit. "Mary," Mrs. Cromwell whispered, breaking the silence. "The storms bring growth, but the light that follows leads us to blessings. Can you feel it?" The room felt alive. An inexplicable warmth enveloped them, a divine embrace that wrapped around each soul present. Mary smiled, tears of joy welling in her eyes. They were truly united, a force of prayer and positivity, each voice intertwined. But then, the temperature in the air shifted. A chill flickered, drawing everyone's attention toward the altar. The candles flickered as if acknowledging an unseen presence. Was it merely the wind? Or was it something more, something sacred? Mary's heart raced. What if this connection they forged was unlocking something vast and unknown? What if heaven truly listened? Out of the silence, a voice, a whisper like a soft wind, caressed her spirit. "Prepare your hearts." As they looked around, mingled with the warmth of faith, a wave of anticipation swept through them. Their prayers had risen, but now they were met with the sweetness of divine mystery. What if this gathering was just the beginning? What awaited beyond the threshold of their fledgling faith? With hope ignited and hearts attuned to the divine, they stood at the edge of wonder, poised for what was to come. Would their collective prayers bring about the miracles they sought? The questions hung in the air like the sweet aroma of fresh rain, and Mary wondered, what miracle was just waiting to be revealed? The stillness in the chapel wrapped around Mary and the villagers like a tender cloak. It was as if the very air they breathed held promises waiting to unfold. Just then, a low hum began to emerge, resonating from the gathered hearts. Each person present felt it, a soft vibration that spoke of both yearning and fulfillment. Mary took a cautious step forward, her faith steadying her resolve. "Lord," she whispered, "we are here ready. Let us hear your voice." Her spoken words hung in the air, fragile yet firm, the weight of expectation palpable. As Mary opened her heart wide, the whispers grew louder, swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gentle breeze. The collective prayers had created a sacred path, a connection to the divine that transcended words. Suddenly, light flickered from the altar, illuminating faces with an ethereal glow. "Look!" called Mrs. Cromwell, her voice both amazed and awed. Eyes shifted to the altar, where a soft golden light pulsed gently, inviting them closer. "Is this a sign?" Mr. Thompson breathed, a hint of trepidation in his voice. Yet beneath that fear, there was excitement, a heartbeat of hope surging through their community. Mary felt a surge of warmth at the base of her heart, a reminder that they had come together, bound in purpose for Samuel's healing. "Whatever it is," she called out, "it's a gift of the Spirit. Let us embrace it with open hearts. We are loved, and our prayers matter." The flickering light brightened, swirling around the chapel, and a sense of deep calm settled over them. It was a presence that resonated with love, urging them to trust in the unknown. The apprehensions that once gripped their hearts began to melt away like morning dew under the sun. That a soft voice reverberated within the chapel, soothing yet firm. Continue in faith, dear ones. Have courage to open your hearts. Miracles await those who believe. The words surged like water over rocks, steadying them, fueling their resolve. Tears began to fall, shimmering in the candlelight. Joy mingled with reverence, and Mary understood that they were not just asking for a miracle, they were being invited into a deeper relationship, a communion with the divine through their earnest prayers. As the warmth wrapped around her, Mary turned to her friends. Can you feel it? It's like a wave charged with energy, she said, excitement threading through her voice. The villagers nodded shoulder to shoulder, their eyes shimmering with belief. They began to share stories, their voices rising and falling like a melody. Each tale held fragments of faith, struggles and victories that danced harmoniously under the watchful presence of God. Then Mrs. Mortimer stood, wiping her tear-filled eyes. I would like to share about my brother, who faced the darkness. Our prayers brought him hope. It changed everything. With each spoken memory, the energy around them intensified. The golden light pulsed in rhythm with their communion, revealing how interconnected their stories truly were. Suddenly, an unexpected sound broke through the gentle chime of bells, echoing from deep within the chapel. What could it signify? The villagers all turned, hearts racing once more. The scene transformed. They were not merely individuals seeking a miracle, they were a united body, poised for divine revelation. Mary felt her heart pounding with anticipation. What comes next, Lord? What are you unveiling before us? The air was brimming with serenity yet pregnant with unexpressed wonder. As the bells echoed and the light shimmered, the congregation stood at the precipice of revelation, hearts expanded, ready to receive what lay ahead. What was this divine moment waiting to unfold, leading them deeper into the heart of God? The resonance of the bells faded, leaving a hush that enveloped the chapel like a warm embrace. In that sacred silence, Mary felt an overwhelming thrill coursing through her veins. The air crackled with divine purpose, urging them toward something profound. She glanced around the room, taking in the expressions of hope and uncertainty painted across their faces. Let us not shy away from this, she urged, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. We've come together in faith, drawn by a singular purpose. Whatever happens next will be part of something beautiful. As if in response to her words, the golden light at the altar shifted and brightened. It appeared to pulse with every heartbeat, golden waves expanding and contracting like breath. The congregation instinctively leaned closer, drawn to the brilliance that beckoned them. Then, another voice rose up, a familiar one. It was Samuel's voice, the boy for whom they had gathered. I can feel you, all your love, your prayers. The words floated through the air, buoyed by the light, resonating deep within their communal soul. My friends, he continued, vulnerability evident in his tone, I'm not lost. I am being held, surrounded by love, and I can tell you, it is more powerful than anything I've felt before. Your prayers, they've carried me. Tears flowed freely, glistening even in the golden light. Mary's heart fluttered as she felt the weight of Samuel's words. Her faith expanded tenfold. The villagers exchanged glances, awe painted on their faces. Could it be that their efforts were already making a difference? Each whispered prayer, every tear shed, had echoed into the heavenly realms where Samuel was receiving their love. Can you see? Samuel's eyes sparkled with light. We are not just separated by physical distance, we are intertwined in spirit. The true miracle is our connection. At that moment, the chapel filled with melody, a harmony crafted through shared intent. The villagers began to hum in unison, the sound swirling around them like a benediction. It was a tangible expression of their faith, resonating with the very marrow of their beings. Mary felt an inexplicable peace settle over her, wrapping around her heart like a tender hug. She realized, amid her yearning for Samuel's healing, she too was healed in spirit. Every worry, Every burden she carried melted under the glowing presence of love surrounding them. In that moment, Mrs. Cromwell stepped forward, emboldened. "Samuel, if love transcends even this moment, what if our connections could guide you back?" Her voice quivered not from fear but from hope. "What if we could truly believe in the power of our faith?" "If we all trust," Samuel replied, "the bridge between our worlds can grow stronger. Our love can bring what seems impossible into reality." Around Mary, fresh tears streamed down faces. Each heart beat in rhythm, echoing with a newfound conviction. They sought not just a miracle for Samuel but a deeper understanding of their faith and connection to the divine. As the light brightened anew, a sensation washed over them, a divine assurance that they were on the brink of revelation. An unspoken question hung in the air: what would happen if they dared to believe beyond their limits? What was waiting just out of reach, ready to break forth into the world? The villagers stood united, hearts aflame with divine hope. As they gazed upon the altar, anticipation crackled, and the golden light pulsed with purpose, beckoning them forward into the unknown. Courage filled their spirits, propelling them deeper into the unfolding mystery. What lay beyond this moment of connection and epiphany? Was there truly a path to healing that entwined their faith and love? The answers awaited, shrouded in divine whisperings. With their hearts entwined in hope, the congregation leaned closer to the golden light, drawn by something far greater than themselves. Mary stood at the forefront, her senses alive as if bathed in pure essence. The warmth of love radiated around her, wrapping each person like a protective cocoon. "Samuel," she spoke softly, her voice barely above a whisper, "we are here for you. We believe in the strength of our love, the power of our prayers. Tell us what we can do." Her words felt like a lifeline thrown into an ocean of uncertainty. His voice, even in its soft tremor, commanded attention. "You are doing it now, believing with every fiber of your being. Love is the language that transcends all barriers." The light shimmered, responding to his sentiment, intensifying with a resonating pulse that felt like a heartbeat. Mrs. Cromwell and the others stood firmly, eyes locked on the altar, their breaths synchronized, inhaling the divine energy that danced before them. Each villager held on to a thread of love in the air, it wove through their hearts and captured their souls. Mary could see it, a golden tapestry binding them all. Suddenly, Samuel's voice took on a more urgent tone: "But you must not forget your own hearts. In this connection, your healing is intertwined with mine. The longing you feel, it must transform into strength. You must believe not only that I am held by love, but that love flows back to you. All of you." Tears welled in Mary's eyes as she realized the profound truth in his words. They weren't just offering prayers, they were receiving a blessing in return. Samuel's healing depended upon their ability to embrace their own vulnerabilities and transform them into hope. As the villagers chanted soft promises, the chapel was filled with vibrant energy. The golden light began to shimmer with hues of azure and violet, painting the air with colors of spiritual awakening. Whispers of encouragement passed through the crowd, each voice merging into the chorus of devotion. "Feel it, let it take root within you," a mystical, gentle presence seemed to encourage. Mary could almost hear the very walls of the chapel resonate with wisdom. "Your collective love can fold time and space." A hush fell over them, broken only by the sound of Mary's heartbeat amplifying in her chest. She felt the pull of the divine, the recognition that they were all part of something infinitely larger than this moment, an eternal unfolding of faith. Suddenly, Samuel's features glowed brighter, illuminating the joy that connected them on a deeply spiritual level. "I see you," he exclaimed, his joy bolstered by the force of their collective belief. "I'm coming back to you. Each of you, hold close to the intention you have shared here." With those words, the shimmering light rose and encircled the chapel like a wave. A silence enveloped the space, strong yet tender, like a gentle embrace from the heavens. Then, without warning, the air shifted. A soft breeze crept into the chapel, cool yet invigorating. It whispered through their hair, carrying the fragrance of wildflowers, an unmistakable sign that something was shifting. Mary watched, awestruck, as the golden light cascaded around them like a waterfall, enveloping Samuel's essence. What lay ahead? Could they indeed be the architects of a miracle, guiding the energies of love to manifest healing? The question lingered in the air, unspoken yet palpable, just waiting for them to dive deeper into the extraordinary potential of their faith. Will we dare to embrace the fullness of this connection? Mary pondered. The moment seemed fragile, and yet utterly powerful, with the promise of a magnificent transformation hanging in the balance. The atmosphere in the chapel thickened with anticipation. Mary felt the energy surge around her, a quiet symphony of faith embracing every soul present. As the golden light continued to weave through the congregation, it began to dance with urgency, reflecting the collective heartbeat of those gathered. "Embrace the light," Samuel proclaimed, his voice ringing clear and strong, as if the spirit within him had multiplied. "Let it awaken the dormant hopes within your hearts. You are not only witnesses but powerful participants in this divine miracle." The villagers began to stand a little taller, their spirits lifting with each word. Mary looked around at the faces filled with a mix of joy and awe. There were children clutching their parents' hands, elders with eyes shimmering with memories of past prayers, and newly connected hearts, all woven together in this moment of divine unity. "Let us breathe in this love," a gentle voice called from the crowd. It was Mrs. Cromwell, her eyes sparkling like the stars that twinkled through the chapel windows. "Breathe in, my friends. Let every breath be a reminder of our connectedness, our strength." The congregation followed her lead, inhaling deeply. With each breath, they absorbed the shimmering energy that enveloped them. Mary could feel it, the sacred exchange of love and strength flowing between them. It was more than just a phenomenon, it was communion, a reminder that every heartbeat echoes in the realms of the transformed. Samuel raised his arms toward the light, drawing in the congregation's focus. "Now, let your voices join in. Sing your prayers, chant your hopes. Allow your intentions to rise like a fragrant offering." As their voices filled the room, the melody soared with such beauty, it seemed to lift the very rafters. It was a song of healing, of love unending, wrapping around Samuel like a celestial blanket. Mary felt tears streaming down her face, not from sorrow but from an overwhelming sense of belonging. In that moment, the boundaries of the individual hearts melted away. They were no longer separate, they were one, a tapestry entwined with threads of divine possibility. Then Samuel's voice rose above the song, high and clear. "Feel the current of love, my friends. In this unity, every prayer becomes amplified, every hope ignited. Trust that what we are opening here transcends time." The light expanded, a radiant glow that made their skin warm, filling them with an inexplicable peace. Mary closed her eyes, letting the vibrations wash over her. She sensed the presence of divine love, urging her to remember, to trust. Is this what it means to walk in faith? She wondered. To know without knowing, to believe without seeing. To connect in this way, weaving our hopes together. Suddenly, a hush fell upon the congregation, as they collectively opened their eyes. The golden light became a luminous column, revealing a figure within a silhouette against the brightness. Samuel raised his voice once more, trembling with a mix of awe and expectation. "Let us welcome what unfolds before us." As they watched, the figure took shape, and in its form, they glimpsed shadows of their own prayers, vivid images that sparked memory and longing. Was it merely their wishes manifesting, or something beyond their understanding? Mary's heart raced. Could they truly witness this miracle? With each heartbeat, the questions deepened, urging them onward. What happens next? She breathed, unable to tear her gaze away. The room held its breath, suspended in divine mystery, waiting for the next revelation to unfold. The atmosphere tightened, a taut string on the brink of melody. Mary felt her heart beat in rhythm with the pulsing light, each throb resonating through the space around her. The veil between the earthly and the divine fluttered, teasing them with the promise of truth held just beyond reach. Samuel's voice pierced the electrified silence. "Can you see it?" he exclaimed. "This is not just a figure, but a reflection of our collective soul. What is taking shape here embodies every prayer and hope we've ever whispered into the night. With renewed hope, Mary leaned closer, her breath mingling with the hushed gasps of her neighbors. Eyes widened in wonder, they strained to see beyond the brilliance a shimmering outline, softly forming, cocooned in the golden glow. There was a depth to this mystery, pulling them deeper into the experience. As moments stretched, the figure turned towards them. Its presence seemed to weave them closer, binding their vulnerabilities with threads of strength. Mary could feel energy snap between individuals like vibrant threads of a tapestry, each pulse spilling out encouragement and warmth. The faint outlines of faces began to focus, their hopes materializing one by one. A child's laughter echoed, transforming memories of sorrow into joy, while an elder's outstretched hand unleashed decades of faith, reminding all present of the power of perseverance. "Look!" Mrs. Cromwell cried, her enthusiasm infectious. The congregation turned toward her, each heart instinctively knowing she spoke truths humbling and profound. Every heart is speaking. Our dreams, our fears, our love, they've arrived. Mary felt a surge of elation rising. Are those our collective prayers? She wondered, captivated. Can prayers truly take form and respond like this? Samuel continued, voice assured and steady. Yes. Each of you carry a piece of this creation. Every battle fought with faith, every tear shed in sorrow, has shaped the love we experience today. Together, we manifest heaven's promise. The room filled with whispered confirmations, murmurs of awe echoing like sacred hymns around the walls. Such unity, such beauty in their shared journey, a fabric unlike any other. With every revelation, Mary sensed her spirit igniting, as if divine flames surged within her. May it be so. She declared softly, yet her voice held strength. May our unity awaken the dormant miracles in all of us. The figure shimmered brightly, pouring waves of divine light upon the gathered souls. Like starlight spilling across a night sky, each whisper of prayer danced upward, mingling with the light. An unmistakable warmth settled in Mary, a gentle assurance that even the heaviest burdens could be lifted, but just as hope began to illuminate her heart, an unsettling tremor ran through the congregation. Faces turned toward each other, concern overshadowing joy. In this powerful moment, Mary sensed a shift, a shadow lurking within the brightness. It cast doubt like raindrops on a still pond. What could disrupt such light? She pondered, her heart heavy with apprehension. Is there turmoil among us? A fear that has yet to be voiced? Samuel's gaze grew intense, as if reading the thoughts racing through their minds. We must not fear what is unseen. Every struggle carries a lesson. Divine whispers often arrive cloaked in disguise. Trust in the unfolding. As he spoke, the luminous figure flickered. The glow dimmed, revealing contours of not just hope but pain, shadows of regrets lingering in the background. It was a vivid contrast, a reminder that every miracle often coexists with trials. Mary's heart raced again, but this time, with urgency. She sensed everyone's breaths quickening, waiting for Samuel's guidance. What lay on the horizon? Was there a challenge awaiting resolution? What will emerge from this light? She thought. Should we confront the doubts that flicker with uncertainty, or do we hold firm to our faith despite them? The air crackled with tension as they faced the unknown. Deep within, Mary felt the longing for expression, an unresolved question that could guide them deeper into partnership with the divine. Will our prayers ignite transformation in the shadows? She whispered fervently, embracing both hope and fear. And as the collective heartbeat pulsed, the divine mystery seemed ready to unveil the next chapter. The air thickened, and the flickering light began to reveal deeper layers. Mary's heart raced. She could feel the tension like the moment before the first note of a symphony. Each person around her was a string, vibrating with expectation. Listen closely. Samuel urged, the urgency in his voice compelling. What do you hear? At first, there was only silence, but then came a soft murmur, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. Mary closed her eyes, tuning her spirit to the sound. It was as if the very walls were singing, recounting stories of faith and perseverance, all the heartache and triumph that had been woven into the fabric of their gathering. "Can you hear the prayers?" An elderly man's voice rasped, filled with reverence. "They are all here. Our cries, our laughter, our sacred moments, they echo through time and space." A vibrant pulse of energy rippled through the crowd as individuals recognized the divine chorus surrounding them. Mary opened her eyes and saw the figure shivering with life. It was becoming more distinct, revealing not just their hopes but also their hidden fears, the doubts they carried in silence. Tremors of emotion swelled within Mary. She shared in their collective anxiety, but she also felt the warmth of hope rise like dawn breaking. "These shadows, they remind us of our humanity," she marveled, as she caught sight of the flickering glow wrapping around the sorrowful countenances. "Even in darkness, light can flourish." "Yes," Samuel echoed, a twinkle igniting in his eyes. "It is not just about addressing the light, it is about embracing the shadows. Acknowledging our fears allows us to confront them, to transform them into testimonies of victory." With each revelation, the atmosphere thickened with a palpable sense of community. Mary felt loved, supported, united. These weren't just neighbors, they were fellow travelers, pushing through the darkness together. Then, a voice cut through the emerging sounds. "But how?" It was a hesitant whisper from a young woman, trembling with vulnerability. "How can we turn our burdens into blessings?" The room grew silent, hearts holding their breath in expectation. Samuel stepped forward, a holy resolve glimmering in his eyes. "We ask, we pray, we trust. Trust that even when the path is dark, God's light is always guiding us." "Let us breathe together," Mary urged softly, her hands raised. "Let us create space for the breath of life, the spirit that unites our voices. In our united breath, awaken the miracles." As they inhaled deeply, Mary felt the harmony envelop them. Exhaling together, they echoed a collective sigh, a release of pent-up fears. The shimmering figure pulsed, responding to their shared energy, weaving a dazzling tapestry of golden light around them, catching individual hopes and dreams like shining stars. Mary opened her eyes, the world around her transformed. The shadows had not vanished, but they were undeniably lighter, softened by their shared act of vulnerability. What a mystery this was! Each fear acknowledged had turned into a stepping stone toward resilience. "Feel that?" she whispered to a man beside her, who nodded, eyes gleaming with unshed tears. "That's the holy whisper of divine presence." But the figure flickered once again, revealing a deeper truth hidden within the light. It was more than their collective fears and hopes, it showed paths yet to be taken. Questions began to flood Mary's mind, the future unfolding like a map, painted with unknown colors. Will we step into those unknown paths? She wondered, apprehension mingling with anticipation. Will the shadows lead to spiritual illumination, or will they draw us back into doubt? And it was within this swirling mystery that she asked a final question, her heart resonating with hope. What waits for us on the other side of this transformation? The air hummed, pregnant with potential, as the divine presence shimmered and pulsed, ready to reveal. As the vivid light swirled around them, Mary's heart raced with anticipation and wonder. The air was thick with divine possibility, and she could almost taste the sweet scent of hope mingling with the intensity of their prayers. This moment felt monumental, a turning point where shadows would either fade or morph into testimonies of faith. "Listen." Samuel's voice grew stronger, drawing the congregation's focus. "In this sea of light and shadow, we find our true selves. What you feel is not just your longing but the heartbeat of God." In an instant, the shimmering figure resonated with the villagers' collective emotions, expanding like the bright dawn breaking over a weary world. Each flicker of light bore witness to their struggles and triumphs. Mary felt a warmth envelop her, almost like a caress from heaven. This is the manifestation of all our hopes, she realized, heart swelling with connection. Around her, villagers began to whisper the names of their loved ones, standing in solidarity against the shadows that threatened their faith. "Together!" Mrs. Cromwell exclaimed, her voice unwavering. Let us break these chains. Our unity gives strength to our voices. Mary's heart soared higher, soaring on wings of faith. Yes. Let us transform this moment into an offering, she cried, the weight of her resolve grounding her in divine purpose. As their voices rose, harmonizing with the celestial light, they knew they were weaving together not just prayers but a tapestry of possibility, a divine connection that crackled with life. Tears streamed down Mary's cheeks, not from despair but from overwhelming recognition of their shared power. Is there anything we cannot achieve together? Samuel asked, a smile illuminating his face like the morning sun breaking through. It infused the chapel with warmth. The flickerings of light began to respond, pulsing with energy, echoing the unity in their hearts. Then, in a moment of breathtaking clarity, Mary saw it, a vision that unfolded like petals of a flower revealing its inner beauty. Samuel's form shimmered, surrounded by vibrant colors, and in that kaleidoscope of light, each fraction of their faith became visible. Look! Mary cried, overwhelmed by the sight. This is what love looks like. Can you see how it connects us all, how we rise together? A chorus of voices filled the air, each participant rising, embracing the surge of divine love coursing through them. And then, an unbreakable truth emerged among them. They weren't just seeking healing for Samuel, they had unlocked a profound understanding of divine communication. This collective outpouring of faith could reshape their reality. Do you feel it, villagers? Samuel exclaimed, his innocence transforming into a voice of pure authority. This isn't merely about asking. It's about knowing our prayers are heard, that our faith holds tangible power. Together we sow seeds. Mrs. Cromwell echoed, her spirit alight with joy. And as we do, we cultivate the soil of miracles. The chapel vibrated with promises fulfilled as the light intensified, bathing them in golden hues. Mary looked around at familiar faces, friends, neighbors, united as one in a heartbeat of prayer, each set of eyes sparkling, filled with renewed faith and hope. Then, as if reading from a sacred script, the air trembled, vibrating with a sacred song of healing. Their collective energy surged, pulse racing like the beating of one heart, resonating throughout the very essence of their village. Are you ready? Samuel called, his voice reverberating in the stillness, inviting them further. Let us stand against the shadows and break the barriers of doubt. Love has no bounds. Empowered by his words, Mary raised her arms, leading the villagers in unison. Fear has no hold, only faith. With every word, they forged a connection, transcending earthly struggles, tapping into the divine frequency that enveloped them. The air shimmered, a palpable testimony to their unity. Suddenly, a whisper of wind swooshed through the chapel, igniting every candle, releasing a burst of light that extinguished doubts and illuminated hope. Every flicker held a promise, and each promise echoed with the collective understanding they had garnered. The villagers vocalized their fervent belief, and just as the crescendo of faith reached its height, the shimmering figure took on a more distinct form, a representation of Samuel, not weakened by uncertainty but ignited by their prayers. I am here. He called, voice more brilliant than before. I can feel you. Samuel. Mary couldn't hold back her joy. Tears of gratitude streamed down her face as his luminous form began to step nearer, illuminated by the embrace of every prayer shared, every tear shed. As she ran forward, the warmth enveloped her. You are healed, my child. The voice echoed through the chapel, resonating within each soul present. A gasp of awe spread through the congregation, multitudes of hearts beating a rhythm of hope, and then it happened. Samuel began to walk toward them, his face aglow with vitality and light. Mary's shock morphed into ecstatic joy as she embraced him, clinging to the miracle birthed by their love and faith. The villagers erupted in spontaneous worship, hearts entwined in a sweet melody of gratitude, eyes flooding with fresh tears of joy, for in that moment, they discovered the most profound truth of all: love transcends barriers, faith ignites miracles, and when united in prayer, they were invincible. As they held each other close, an overwhelming sense of unity washed over them, bestowing peace and purpose. Mary knew this was just the beginning, a new chapter of hope, transformed lives, and the beauty of divine communication, revealed through their unyielding spirits. As the golden glow faded, the chapel filled with laughter and tears, for they understood their identities had shifted. They were no longer mere villagers, they were a family bound by faith, a community ignited by love. Now, as they stepped into the world, they carried within them the secrets of divine communication and the stories of miracles that transformed their lives forever. Now is the moment to embrace the journey of faith. You need to subscribe now to this channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that could change your life. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support this movement of love. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about this ending, sharing how it touched your heart. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Together, let us spread the light of divine communication.